Alrighty, so in this video, I'm going to be going over a couple of sparring rounds that we filmed. Each is about 7 minutes long, and I'm just going to be walking through my thought process as the rounds go on. If you enjoy the video, consider leaving a like and subscribing. But other than that, let's get right into the video. So getting right into our first match, I am lowering my posture just a little bit. I want to make sure that my head is in line with hers. Now this first collar grip, I do want to strengthen a little bit more. You notice I go underneath her arm because we were a little bit too high with that grip there. I go right into a guard pull. She does a good job shucking that foot off. We actually both end up coming back up. Now again, I still have that collar control there. She's lifting that with her elbow, so I want to switch that grip. I think I do that here, and I get this cross collar grip. Now I can threaten sort of a modified Osotogari here, but I opt to switch back to that collar grip. Threaten with the Ouchi, and then I pull. Now the grips that I have, I'm able to get underneath her, elevate, and I go for that helicopter armbar, but I'm not quite committed. So I just use that to sweep and then come up to this mount position. Now with my left arm, I'm looking to get into a cross collar choke. She does a good job bumping to that side, defending there. Now I go in to take the back, but instead I actually think she gets her shoulders to the mat here. She is catching my foot, so we're in this quarter guard position. Now I realize that I'm not just going to be able to slide my foot through, so with my right arm I come over, similar to the cross collar position that I was in before, just on the other side. This time I'm using that grip to turn her head to the side, make sure that I can slide that foot through, and then come back to this mount position. I actually think she bumps into that side. Now instead of letting her do the same thing that she did earlier, I'm using my hips to flatten her as well as the grip that I already had on her collar. Here I'd like to get underneath her elbows as much as I can, but she's doing such a good job keeping those arms glued to her body. So here I'm going to transition to the sort of reverse Keisekatami position. Now again, she's using her strong hips to try to bump into me, but I block that near side leg with my hand, making sure that she finds that difficult. This is actually one of the first times that she opens up with her arms, allowing me to capitalize and take this Kimura grip here. I sort of run over the arm that she's looking to defend with, turn her over to the side. Now with my far leg, the left leg, I'm actually trapping the arm that would be defending, posturing up here, and then able to finish the Kimura. And on to our second round. Again, I want to look to establish that first dominant grip, but she drags me and she looks to find my back. I have enough control of her sleeve, however, to finish the Seoinage here. Now, she recovers well, but I have enough grip to finish an X-pass, but she turns away immediately. And now, similar to the escapes that she was doing earlier, I try to get that near side hook in. I'm not successful. You'll notice anytime we're in this turtle position, I'm keeping a lot of pressure on her because I'd like for this to be a position that she's exhausting herself more than I'm exhausting myself. So I'm making sure that either my hip is applying pressure or I have enough torso pressure on her that she's working more than I am. Now, I'd like to extend her here as much as possible. So I have a grip on her collar and then another one on her pant. I start to realize that this isn't effective because she's so strong in her core. So she's doing a good job keeping her elbow connected to her knee. You see me struggle there to find the grip. So I start to posture up here, using that to stretch out the leg. Lifting there just a bit, I switch my grip to the belt. That's going to help me pin the hip to the mat once I drop down here. Now, as we turn the corner just a bit, you'll see that she has my foot trapped in a weird way. I'd usually just be able to cut through here, but I retract my hips just a bit to create that space, and then I slide through. Right away, dropping my pressure, blocking the hip because I feel that she has that underhook, and then I turn to the other side here now. Now, right away, I'm blocking that hip because I realize that she's going to try to bump into me. Now, I have enough pressure on her upper body that I'm able to grab my foot, and we find ourselves in this sort of transitionary position, not quite in the full mount just yet. So if she is trying to escape, I can return to a side control position. Now, the way that I mounted, I think, caught her off guard just a bit. So instead of the way that we were earlier, where I was having a difficult time finding a position underneath her elbows, I'm actually able to get a higher mount here, start to threaten that arm. But she does a really good job, again, bumping and then finding her way to this turtle position. This time around, I do have that hook on the inside with my right leg. My right arm is ensuring that my hips stay low on her back, because I'd prefer not to get rolled over. Now, I'm not finding my left hook to the inside just yet, so I start to look to reinforce my right hook, start to try to bring her over to the side that I do have control of, but she does a good job leaning to the other side. Now, I come up, I notice that, and I start to try to drive her over, but again, she's getting her chest flat to the mat, doing a really good job, sort of just neutralizing any of the attacks that I'm giving her here. So she traps that arm again, tries to roll me. I move over to that side, and I start to realize that I'm having difficulty bringing her over. Right away, I establish my grips, pull her into my guard. Now, I have my De La Hiva here. I realize that she's looking to backstep, so with that right foot, I block her leg. Once I have a position that I'm comfortable with, I release that foot, and then I use that to sweep her over. Now, I don't come up to finish the sweep. I feel like I have enough control of her right foot to finish an ankle lock here. Now, she's doing a good job closing the distance with that right hand, making sure that I can't stretch enough to finish, but I am able to find that space, and then I'm able to finish that ankle lock. And then our last round here, I actually think the timer finishes us off this time around. You're actually about to see a terrible guard pull. I'm not quite sure what I was doing, but I actually pull guard with just this one grip here. She shucks that foot off, as she should, but I'm able to use the grip that I do have on her collar to make sure that I have enough distance between us. I hook with my right arm to the inside. I really exaggerate the angle that I have here, hoping to get a sweep, but she's doing a good job keeping her base low, and I realize that. But I do return to this sort of exaggerated position, and then I start to feed that lasso through. Now, to finish the lasso sweep, I'd need a little bit more space, or I need her a little bit more close to me. So I put that leg down, I allow her to pass, and I start to roll her over. I come up, and then I think that's time. Alrighty, so into our first round here, I have the same goal. I want to establish that first dominant grip. He does a really good job intercepting my hands, though. So I actually think he gets the first grip, but I come underneath with my right hand. Once I find control with my left, I'm comfortable pulling guard here. Both feet come to the hips. I look to elevate, and then I'm just using that to find my way to my closed guard. Now, you'll see me come to these grips throughout the match. I want to have control of the same side sleeve and the same side pant, and then I'm going to use that to open up, start to threaten his balance. He does a really good job, though, leaning into that side, sort of anticipating the sweep that I was looking for there. Now, he shucked that foot underneath, but I actually like this position because I can find a way to elevate, and once I elevate, I can find my way to the single leg X position, getting that left leg to the inside. Now, I'd like to underhook with my left arm. That way I can off balance to the left and then sweep him that way. When I start to try to come up, though, I realize that he has a lot of control of my left leg, actually threatening an ankle lock here. Now, his foot's caught in my lapel. I realize that. And he threatens an omoplata because I looked at it for too long. But I am able to come up, finishing the sweep. But the control that he has here put me in an awkward position. I am able to maintain my balance, however, but I want to get rid of that control that he has on my foot. So I return, cut that through, and now I want to smash that leg down underneath me. But you can start to see here, he's looking to set up a lasso. He doesn't quite get the lasso through because I'm doing a good job turning the angle, but he hooks his foot into my lapel. Now, this is a weird position for me because I was defending as if it was a lasso position, but that defense wasn't working against this. So I started to realize that. So instead, I just start to posture up here. I switch my grip over to the collar to threaten a little bit there. And then right away, as soon as that foot's shucked off, I switch over to this weave position. I want to slide my leg through, keeping that grip that I have on the collar. That way I can flatten his shoulders down to the mat. Now, I don't let go of that grip just yet because I do not have a position that I'm comfortable with. Again, you can see there he tries to bump into me, so I use that to flatten his shoulders. Now I'm able to widen my base. I switch over to the other side, the side that he's leaning to. And now this reverse Keisagatame position, similar to what I was looking at earlier, I feel like I have a little bit more control than just from a regular side control. Now he bumps into me, but I let his own movement switch me over to the other side. Now, I've realized that I want to limit the movement that he has, so I go for a pretty strong crossface, and I want to threaten this lapel choke here. Now, here he's keeping his arm in tight, not necessarily framing into me, but keeping it tight to his body. Now, usually I'd feed that under the forearm and then over the shoulder, but like I'm saying, that arm is glued to his chest, so as soon as it slides down, and then I turn the angle, finishing the lapel choke. Then on to our second round here. I actually want to threaten and just try to sweep him back here. When I come up, though, he actually gets a little bit taller than I am here, and I just pull him into my guard. I try to open up that leg, but he does a good job straightening that out. Now, I end up in the same position that we were earlier, and I look to elevate, but the grip that I have on his collar doesn't allow me to off-balance him to the side, so I actually switch over to the cross-collar grip. He tries to break that. Thankfully, I'm able to hold on there. Again, I elevate, look to get that left leg to the inside right away, looking to underhook that leg. Now, this time he's aware, so he's doing a really good job trying to maintain his balance. But I really drive my hips into that leg, and then I'm able to finish the sweep here. Now, I don't come up right away. Actually, does a little bit of reaping there. And now, I think he does threaten that foot again. Yeah, he realizes it's there. He starts to threaten that ankle lock. Now, I feel the danger, so I start to come up. I want to stomp that foot to the mat. When I do come up, he changes the angle that he has and brings his hips straight to my knee. Starts to threaten the knee bar, I notice, so I bend into that knee. Right away, he's looking to threaten the toe hold. I realize it about there, and then I follow the angle that he's directing me to, neutralizing that. Now, there's a weird scramble. He leads with his hips, comes over my head, and he starts to grab my gi, so it keeps me trapped underneath him. However, I'm able to isolate that arm, use my ribs to apply pressure on his shoulder, and then finish the straight arm bar. And then on to our last round. I actually think the timer finishes this one off as well. Now this time I think I'm going straight for the single leg X setup, but he does a good job keeping his distance this time around. I have that cross collar grip, so I look to do a collar drag, but he does a good job, again, keeping his distance. He actually traps that foot. He returns to a standing base. Now he tries to pressure in. I grab that pant, looking to create a little bit of space. Now here, I bring that leg over. Now, he's getting high with his leg, so I want to elevate here, but he does a good job sprawling his hips out, and then I find my way to this closed guard position. And now again, you find me trying to look for that same side collar, same side pant control, but I opt just for this cross collar grip. Now here, I'd like to go for the scissor sweep, but you can notice that I don't have enough control of that sleeve that I've grabbed onto. So he posts, and then he finds his way back squared up with me. Now here, he weaved his own arm through my leg, so I use that to set up a lasso position, and I control that same side pan, and I'm going to use that to sweep him to the side. Once I sweep, I start to try to come up. I want to circumvent all of the issues that I was looking at earlier, getting that foot out of my lapel, stomping my right foot to the mat, making sure he can't set up that ankle lock, and I believe here I'm starting to smash my way down, and the time finishes us off. I hope you enjoyed that video, and since you stayed till the end, I'm guessing that you did. I had a ton of fun making that, so if you enjoyed, please consider leaving a like and subscribing, because I do plan on making a couple more just like it. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.